I was at a debate here recently, and somebody said, well, doesn't the Shroud of Turin prove that Jesus Christ lived on earth? Well, I don't need the Shroud of Turin to prove Jesus lived on earth, but what about the Shroud of Turin? Somebody sent me this book and said, oh, Brother Hovind, you got to read this. This is proof that Jesus was buried in the burial cloth, proof of death, burial, and resurrection of Christ. Well, they say the Shroud of Turin was the cloth Jesus was buried in. Now, here's the facts about it. This is a picture of it. You can see the picture of the face, and the arms are crossed, and they say the holes in the hands where he was, crucified, and holes in the feet, and you can see the beard and all this stuff. There's several real serious problems with the Shroud of Turin. They say you can see the outline of his beard and his wounds. Well, the Bible says his face was bound about with a napkin. The piece around his head was different than the piece around his body. In John chapter 20, it says, Peter went in and saw the linen clothes lie, and the napkin about his head, not lying with the clothes, but in a place by itself. The Shroud of Turin has one cloth covering the head and the body. It's not the burial cloth of Jesus. They saw the linen clothes lie by themselves, Luke chapter 24. Isaiah prophesied that they would pluck off his hair. Well, the Shroud of Turin shows a man with a beard. He didn't have a beard. By the time he got buried, they had plucked off the hair of his cheeks, okay? 1 Corinthians says it's a shame for man to have long hair. This guy had long hair. At least the image does, okay? Jesus did not have long hair. He was not a Nazarite. He was from Nazareth, okay? The custom of that day was to have short hair. If the custom was to have short hair, then why did Judas have to kiss him to pick him out of the crowd if Jesus had long hair? He could just say, hey, he's the long-haired guy. Go get him. No, Jesus had short hair like everybody else, okay? So, Jesus went secretly to the feast. Nobody picked him out as unusual. He looked just like everybody else, okay? He was not a Nazarite from Numbers chapter 6. That was a vow they took not to cut their hair, shave, and all that stuff. Samson was a Nazarite. Jesus was from Nazareth. Don't get the two confused, okay? It's no connection whatsoever. So the Shroud of Turin is a really old cloth. It might even be a cloth somebody was buried in. It might even be a cloth somebody who was crucified was buried in. I wouldn't argue any of that. But it's not Jesus. That's for sure.